Welcome back to GEEKY Reviews. I'm your host, Mike Wilkerson, and this is going to be my review for Season 1, Episode 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. titled I Spy. This episode premiered back on October 15, 2013. This episode opens in Stockholm as a number of identically dressed men with red masks and briefcases enter a subway station, followed by a mysterious young woman tracking their movements. Upon boarding the train, the men stare at the woman before she takes advantage of the emergency brake to knock them all out unconscious, severing one of their hands to fetch his handcuffed briefcase. Alone in the tunnels, the woman opens the briefcase to reveal a cache of diamonds before disappearing. This was very inconspicuous, this whole opening moment of these masked men in red masks just walking through a very public place that's so busy, so crowded with people. And maybe that was the idea, but I find it funny that I would say, like, if you're gonna like have this woman tracking your every movements, that you would not want to do it in broad daylight. You would want to like do it maybe like under the radar a little bit more. But it's just very inconspicuous that they just chose to all walk, especially when everybody has phones nowadays. They can literally like track you and just take videos of you, and that's exactly what the public does. Just how it's like it's Times Square all over again. But I guess if you want to, it's like them walking so inconspicuously, like they're the Blue Man Group. But it's also like if you want to be more like, tie it more into the Marvel universe, it is more like, I guess, cheaper masks, like red mask of like Red Skull kind of thing, which is funny to me. But meanwhile, on board the bus en route to Sweden, Coulson finds Skye as she's taking some personal time within one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. cars, asking for her assistance to learn someone cracked elaborate security systems and multiple heists. In this case of the masked men, the thief managed to identify which of the 55 briefcases contained the diamonds, which that's a lot of briefcases. If all those briefcases had diamonds, that's kind of crazy to me. But I would say like only one of them really needed to have, diamonds or whatever. And if that's the case, then were they just carrying around like empty briefcases or something? I don't know. It's very funny to me. And it's just very, again, going back to that whole inconspicuous idea of walking around in public with it and that kind of thing, especially if they're like worth millions of dollars. But meanwhile, they have identified the briefcases with the diamonds, having pulled of several other impossible heists with their eyes closed. Skye points that they can find the woman through social media photos of the bizarre masked men, which is, a good little tracking tool. It's pretty easy when they're writing or whatever, that you can always use like photos and social media to identify certain people, that kind of thing. So it's a nice little tool they have, and it's a smart thing. But to basically identify the masked man, in which Coulson recognizes his own former trainee, Akela Amador. Coulson identifies former protege as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent gone missing and now gone rogue. This was a nice little through line that they gave Coulson. He was really trying to help her and clean up the idea of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s past. And I really like this for him because it does show that he is not the same person, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, that he was when he was working for Nick Fury and compromising a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now he's actually trying to, in a way, have like a second life where he's leading a team, doing right, and cleaning up S.H.I.E.L.D.'s past. And this starts with the Akela Amador, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that's gone rogue and now gone missing. So Akela goes to meeting with her buyer, I should say, and handling the golf balls that is disguised as diamonds. Akela accepts the key card as payment for the stones. This was interesting because it made me wonder, like, did all the golf balls, are they all just like disguised as golf ball? Are all the diamonds all disguised as golf balls, and when you crush the golf balls they turn into diamonds? If not, if it's just that one, again, it goes back to that very stupid idea of like the men are just running around with empty briefcases or whatever. I don't know. I guess he's just trying to find who it was, and I guess you can't really call it inconspicuous at that point because they're on a mission, but it's just funny that they're walking around in broad daylight anyway. The broad team of Coulson, Ward, Fitz and Simmons, and Skye dive into a small village as Coulson and Ward get on foot to ask around for Akela's hotel. Meanwhile, the team in the van taps into a mysterious signal broadcasting nearby, quickly realizing it to be Akela's own video feed. Approaching the van, Skye tries in vain to use the gun for her defense, which really, Skye, you're gonna try to shoot. I hate that trope when a character like is in a van and then they try to like shoot somebody, which is not gonna work. Obviously, what are you gonna do with that little gun? Who knows? But basically, she attacks them. She rams her van into their van, causing them to fall off a cliff, which is crazy. But it's still interesting that Skye kind of defends Coulson and defends this whole thing of like this woman. But I think it does make sense because I don't think she's presented as all bad. She just kind of got mixed up in a bad situation where she's being watched a lot this episode. And I actually start feeling bad for her and that kind of thing. But I think like what makes it interesting too is like May does something where she actually does track her and goes to her hotel to confront her or whatever, which is really messed up for Coulson as he's trying to really save her this episode. Akela wakes to find May in her hotel, refusing to look at the agents for feel for her handler, which will order them to fight or activate a failsafe. In her eye, Akela opts to protect herself by engaging in May, gaining the upper hand by turning the lights through. Coulson manages to intervene with the tranquilizers before Akela kills May. A while later, Akela wakes on board Shield, a holding cell. While Coulson assures her that they're transferred the ocular feed to a set of glasses worn by Ward intended to carry out the mission until they can remove Akela's implant. Having been watched for the last 4 years since her captivity after the failed mission, Akela expresses relief in laments that not knowing Coulson's last order got her team killed. Meanwhile, Ward and Skye arrive to Akela's assigned destination, able to look at one another to avoid compromising Akela's cover. I thought this was a nice little thing, like while Ward and Skye are in the field trying to deal with this and find it. She's trying to get her implant out, this little eyepiece or whatever, this camera, so she can stop being watched. It was a little gruesome because it was like so attached to her eye, but I thought it was interesting. It kind of reminded me of Flash trying to get like the bomb out of Lisa Captain Cold's sister in the Flash. So while like Barry was out on the heist type of thing, so this kind of was similar to that, but it was in her eye, this like little camera thing or whatever. And it just made me feel bad for her that she had this kind of whole thing implanted into her eye, and her just having to be watched all this time. It's kind of crazy to me. Back at the bus, Coulson informs Akela that her handler was former MI6 agent who fell off the grid years ago. The latter remarks that he was as trapped as she was. Getting to the matter of Akela's mission, Coulson explains that the equation on the wall are definitely alien to S.H.I.E.L.D. and must be worth a lot, whoever is mastermind behind these eye implants. He assures Akela that she'll receive the final trial, where Akela points out to May that something seems worryingly different about Coulson since he injury at the Battle of New York, which is exactly what I was saying. It shows how much he's changed. Coulson returns to Skye's carside hideaway as the two agree about the importance of having somewhere peaceful to rest, and Akela's family finally sleeps without fearing of being watched, which I actually appreciate. I think it works a lot better this episode with Coulson having that kind of person that he's looking out for, and he's not actually trying to hurt them, which is a nice little common theme. They do kind of have that throughout these first 3 episodes I've witnessed, that he's always is trying to help somebody, but he can't always save them, that type of thing. And in final, the after credit scene, Fitz enlists Skye and the glasses to see Ward's cards in a poker game, but quickly folds when he realizes that Skye will also see him without clothes. Suspicious Ward turns around to Skye, turns on the glasses. This was a nice little cute little moment. I was expecting it to have some sort of like payoff and something set like with this, but it was just kind of a little funny, cute gag that they thrown in at the end there. But let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite part and least favorite part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, Episode 4, I Spy? If you enjoy the review, as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys in the next Geek Reviews video.